Alrighty. Well, happy Wednesday afternoon, everybody. Happy hump day. Good afternoon. Um, just a quick recap again. My name is Sean Bitsui. I've been with the College Fund since 2023. Been with the student success team here as a coach. And Adriana and I have sort of been working together on this Go to College series, which is, I believe, our third annual this year. So it's a sort of a summer series we put on every summer. It really touches on all things first year experience for students. So again, like we stated, feel free to introduce yourselves, put some information there in the chat. This is day two. So we have sort of a really great lineup of internal and external speakers and presenters brought to you today. So we thank you for sort of taking the time to join us on this delightful discussion that we have set up for you here today. So you can go ahead and move to the next slide. Again, like I said, we're at day two, July 23rd. We have a sort of a lineup here again, if you haven't registered for the rest of the events we have set up, but it's every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the next 3 weeks. Same time frame, 1 to 2 Mountain Standard Time. We can definitely drop the link in the chat as well for the registration page and sort of our landing page with all of our information about our speakers, the reservation links, and some other information of regarding the series. So again, just sort of following up on some more information as well. Again, this is sort of a tiered prize system we have set up here for you. So again, the more sessions you attend, and again, at the end, we'll provide our survey. If you want to go ahead and fill that out, that does count towards the ticket towards our tiered prize system. So if you attend one session, you can get in a drawing for the gift card, 2 for the Beats headphones, 3 for the tablet, and of course 4 for the grand prize of the student laptop. So again, we try to incentivize individuals to really join. So if you know anyone that's in the same boat as you, that's first year, just curious to learn more about the College Fund and maybe some of our presenters and speakers, definitely spread the word. So we have a great system set up for you guys here. And I will pass it on to my colleague Adriana to introduce our prize speaker for the day.
Okay, so our our day two session speaker today is Dr. Koreen Ressler. So Dr. Ressler is the current Vice President of Operations at Sitting Bull College at Fort Yates, North Dakota. She began her employment with Sitting Bull in January 1996 and has held various administrative positions during her tenure. Prior to coming to Sitting Bull College, Dr. Ressler began her career of 43 years within the tribal colleges and university systems at Fort Berthold Community College in Newtown, North Dakota in 1982. So we'll go ahead and give the floor to Dr. Ressler.
Thank you. All right, can everybody see my screen? So what you need to know to start strong, what every freshman needs to know. So it's breaking down your first year college experience. As I was introduced, my name is Dr. Koreen Ressler. My Lakota name is Wachinkia Yuhawi, which means woman who provides good or woman who provides hope. That name was given to me by our president of our college, Dr. Laura Vermillion, when I completed my PhD. And that's probably one of the top honors that I have, and feel very fortunate working with the tribal college system to have received that honor. And so as they introduced me, I am the Vice President of Operations, not academics. I guess I haven't changed that. I do have a PhD in Organizational Behavior and Management, a Master's in Management with an emphasis in Information Technology, a Bachelor's in Business Education, and I have worked 43 years with the Tribal College. And I also am a HLC Consultant Evaluator, which HLC is the Higher Learning Commission. And so that is the accrediting agency that accredits most of the tribal colleges. So how to determine academic success, how to be successful. But the very first thing is you need to understand your class schedule and your syllabi when you receive them, especially your class schedule. Your class schedule, when you receive that, should have some legends on there, like at the bottom, which kind of explains what the terms of the schedule mean. For instance, we always have to explain at Sitting Bull College because our Thursdays are an R on the schedule. And so our classes usually run Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. And the Monday, Wednesday is easy to distinguish with an M and a W, but the Tuesday, Thursday come out as a T and an R. So we always are explaining to students, making sure they understand that that R means Thursday, that they have to be in class on Thursday, and what times they have to be in class. And then also sometimes when you're doing an online class, you may sometimes with an online class also have to attend a Zoom session. And so if that's a Zoom session, it should be listed there so that you can actually determine when you may have to get on to that course. Then your first day of your class, you should receive a course syllabi. And that course syllabi is treated almost like a contract because it outlines all the essential information that you need to know about the subject, your course. It should have your course description, the objectives, what you're expected to learn out of that class, and most importantly, it has your grading policy. That grading policy is really important because if you end up with a discrepancy in your grade or you feel you've got too low of a grade, then you should be allowed to do a grade grievance. And most of the time that grade grievance is going to go as to what that grading policy actually was when it was on your syllabi. Okay. The other thing is go to class because attendance does matter. Research does indicate that attendance has a positive effect on both your course grades and your GPA. It's a very strong predictor of college grades. The more you attend, the better your GPA is going to be because attendance matters because it enables a transfer of that course content. It's giving you that knowledge that you need of the course that you cannot get if you're just outside of it and trying to read the book. So attendance does matter. Make sure that you use your campus resources. There should be tutoring available. There might be a writing center. Your faculty and your student support services should all have office hours. So find out where these services are, where they're located, and the hours of their service. Most of the time, faculty will have their office hours posted on their office door. So you can go to their doors and see what hours they might be available, or talk to them even after class and ask them if you're struggling, can you get tutoring? Who would they recommend for tutoring? Just make sure that you ask questions. Also, there might be colleges that have some online services available. At Sitting Bull College, we have like online tutoring. We use Net Tutoring, which is a 24/7 tutoring service that our students can log into. They can download their paper to it and then get some feedback from papers and so forth. Another thing that's important is developing good time management and study habits. Students are expected to spend 3 hours a day or a week for every 1 hour in class. So if you do the math, it's almost like a 40-hour week. So if you have 15 credits, you're expected to be spending 3 hours of that 15 credits, equivalent to that 15 credits outside of class that week. So it comes to almost a 40-hour week, and it's similar to a job. Sometimes you may need less time to study, sometimes you need more time to study. It just kind of depends upon the subject matter, whether it takes the 3 hours for every 1 credit. But the thing I always tell students when I do orientation with students is to think of college as a job. It is like getting up in the morning, getting to your class, studying when you need to study. So always treat college like it is a job. College should be preparing you for your time management and habits that would be appropriate once you get out into the workforce. Always make sure that your mental and emotional health, take care of your mental and emotional health. College may feel overwhelming, especially if you're a brand new student or you're just a student coming out of high school. You might have moved away and going to a new school, someplace where you're not from. So it all becomes overwhelming. And the number one thing is always ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help, especially if you're going to a tribal college. I think tribal colleges are very helpful to our students. We are so student oriented, always available, always willing to help our students. Your college should have some type of counseling service. So if you need counseling service, that is available to you. Practice self-care and stress management. There's things that you can do just for self-help. You can Google it, find different things that might help you do that. And then make sure you get enough sleep and eat well, because it does say your mental and emotional health is critical to academic success. It also helps with relationships and your long-term well-being. It often can be overlooked, your mental and emotional health is also sometimes overlooked due to the school pressures and your social demands. So always make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Get enough sleep, make sure you're eating well. Sometimes that's not always easy, but that is what we should try practicing. Another thing is getting involved. If your school that you're going to has clubs or different organizations or even sports, go to the clubs, go to the organization meetings, or get involved with sports. They'll have different events on campus. Attend those campus events. That'll allow you to help meet new people. If they have leadership opportunities, such as if you can become an officer in a club, that's a great leadership opportunity, or volunteer for different opportunities that might be on campus. This is really important because the benefits for getting involved is it helps you make friends and different connections with new people on campus. It also provides leadership opportunities, and those leadership opportunities are what really helps to build your resume. Because once you get done with college, when you go for a job, they're not just looking at that degree that you received, they're also looking at what you did and what as community service, what leadership or clubs you might have been involved in, and positions you might have held within those clubs. So that helps build up that resume. Also, getting involved helps you to reduce stress. Again, that goes back to your mental and physical health and your mental and physical well-being. Is getting involved helps to reduce that stress, and it helps to discover new interest. We have a ACES club on campus, and sometimes they go out in the field and they will do fish tagging, and they go to a local lake. And students may go to that for the first time, and then all of a sudden they're like, wow, I really like environmental science. I think I'll become an environmental science major. So some of these things that you attend on campus might actually help shape what career you decide to go into or what your major might be. Because a lot of times when you get into college your first year, you're just filling it out. You're basically getting your generals out of the way and trying to really figure out what you want to do with your life. So getting involved in these campus events might help you really find your purpose and what you really think you might want to do and what major you want to go into. And research really does indicate that the more involved you are with your college, the better your academic performance is going to be and the better your grades are. Money management. Of course, college costs money. And so it's really good to do a simple budget. Figure out how much your books are going to cost, what your food might be. If you need money for fun things, include that in your budget. Make sure you understand your financial aid and what deadlines are there for financial aid. You should apply for as many scholarships as you can, but also make sure that you're applying for your federal financial aid and do it early. The more financial aid that you have available, the better and less stressful that money management is going to be on you. Every school you go to should develop a budget for you, and that budget is what your cost of attendance is going to be. So it would be your cost of your tuition, your cost of your books, fees. It might be housing allowance, food allowance. All of that will be part of that budget. And then when you get your financial aid, that financial aid is applied to that budget. Your tuition, books, and fees will all be paid. And any additional money that is left over for living would be the money that you would have to budget to make sure that that is going to carry you throughout the semester. So always make sure that you understand your financial aid, what kind of money you're getting back, And if you're getting money back, make sure you budget it, because you might get all that money back in August when you first start school, and that has to last you until the end of the semester, which is December. And so a lot of times students don't understand that. And so you're sitting with in October, November, and December with no finances. So it's important to understand your financial aid, how much money you'll be getting back. Make sure you budget it, and make sure you budget that money that you're getting back throughout the entire semester. You can also look for campus jobs. There might be work-study jobs. At our campus, we have some apprenticeship jobs. So we have students that, especially our business students, our business administration students, are all working in different parts of the college for us, and they're getting paid for that experience. So depending upon where you decide to go to school, there may be different jobs on campus that you can apply for and qualify to work for, such as work study or apprenticeship jobs. But most important, also be smart about credit cards and loans. Most of our tribal colleges do not offer student loans. The reason for not offering student loans is that we don't want that debt on our students when you leave college. We want you to pretty much be debt free. Most of the tuition rates at tribal colleges are relatively low. They're very cost effective for students to attend a tribal college. And if you get all your financial aid in and get scholarships and your federal financial aid done early, you should be able to cover that cost of attendance with that financial aid and scholarships, so that you won't have to worry about loans. Also, you're out of the house, you're getting credit built up if you get a car or if you're working or whatever. So be careful with credit cards. Don't take out a lot of credit cards and then have that debt that you have to pay off. Some people may be living on campus, depending upon where you're going to school at. You may live on campus. And so if you're living on campus, you have to learn roommate communication skills, especially at tribal colleges. Tribal colleges sometimes tend to have a older than average student population. So you might be in a room with somebody, there might be an age difference of somebody in their 20s and somebody in their 30s. And so you need to be able to communicate with people of different ages and different backgrounds. So that is something to consider. Make sure that you realize that it's a respected shared space, that there's quiet hours, that people need to study when you're living on campus. You should make sure that you always stay safe when you're on campus. I would say that tribal colleges are relatively safe. Make sure you lock your doors. Make sure you have emergency contacts. There should be campus security. Make sure you know campus security, what their contact number is, how to reach them, and so forth. Most of your housing, especially if you're staying in the dorm, you should have an RA or somebody that's overseeing the dorms. Make sure you get to know them. And the other thing is, understand your housing policies. There are policies pretty much for everything once you get to college, and policies usually are located on a college's website. So if you go to the college's website, usually something about under students or student life, most of that information is there. Make sure you understand what the policies are. You don't want to get a violation and then say, well, I didn't realize I couldn't do that. So understand your policies. A lot of times schools will do like a 3 strike, but sometimes depending upon what it is, you may end up with just 1 strike. So just understand policies, because that's really important. Technology and communication. One thing is, check your student email daily. This is really important, but not only check it, make sure you read and read it thoroughly. Make sure and read emails completely and thoroughly. Because a lot of times what may happen is, say for instance, an event is happening on campus and your classes might be canceled or whatever. This is pretty much where you're going to end up learning about it. If there's scholarship opportunities, financial aid may be sending that out to you. So really make sure that you read those emails daily, because there's emails that come from all different agencies. I know, like if, say for instance, a college fund has a certain scholarship deadline, our financial aid person is sending that out to all of our students like immediately. So it's important that you do that. Your schools most likely will have a learning management system. Some schools use Canvas, some use Blackboard. We use Genzabar. So just make sure you understand your school's learning platform. Usually there'll be a student orientation, or you might be in a first year learning course. A lot of your student orientation and your first year learning course should get you familiar with that learning platform, because that's where you're going to go log in daily, and you should be able to see the courses that you're registered for. Your syllabi should be on there. It should be an outline of what you need to do for homework or testing. You will upload documents into here for grading. Also, most schools, what's nice about your learning management system is it does allow you to see your grades. And so you can see what grades you have like periodically throughout the semester. So if you get a grade, you can go to your instructor like at midterm and say, oh, what can I do to get my grade up? Or, how do I stay on track to make sure that I'm going to continue this grade? So always make sure you know your student learning management system. Follow your college's social media, newsletters, updates. So most of your colleges should have a Facebook page. Some may have a TikTok page. Some are on Snap. Make sure you follow that, because, for instance, like where we are at in North Dakota, we have bad weather, and there are going to be days when we actually close our campus because it's snowing or we have a storm out and we just want to keep people safe. A lot of times when that happens, we will move our classes to online. And how we actually send that out to students is we put it on our social media. It's on Facebook, it's on Snap, it's on TikTok. But the other thing is, and that's part of understanding your school policies and your learning management system, is you can register your cell phone number. And usually when you register your cell phone number with your school, you'll get an alert. And that alert will notify you if if the college is going to be closed for the day, or if one of your instructors is sick and they can't make it for the day. That alert system on your phone may also, if something happens on campus where there might be a lockdown or you have to stay shelter in place, that's all going to come through that alert system that school has on your cell phone. So always make sure when they say, again, it goes back to reading your emails and saying you need to register your phone or use your learning management system, social media. Make sure that you're doing that, reading thoroughly. And if you don't understand what's being asked, make sure that you ask questions, because that's really important. Stay connected. Make sure with all of this that you are connected, but manage your screen time. You don't want to be online so much that you're forgetting about actually study time. The other thing you should do is set goals for yourself and stay motivated. Set your academic and your personal goals each semester. If your goal is to get a 4.0 for the semester, then go for it. That's your goal. Set it and then make sure you're following it. See what you can do to get that goal. The other thing is it's really good to use a planner or a digital calendar of some type, because that way you can walk out when your classes are. You can actually block out time to study, to make sure that you're giving yourself time to study, because it also being involved in your college and what's there is really important, but you can't get over involved to a point where you don't have time to study. So it's really good to do a planner and block out times to make sure that you're going to be able to have study time and also be involved in things. Celebrate small wins. I mean, going to college is a big step a lot of times for new students. And so celebrate when you get something. Your first test that you get that A, celebrate that win. That goes a long way. And don't compare your journey to others. Everybody's journey in college is going to be different. Everybody has their own goals and their own motivation as to why they're in college. So don't compare yourself to somebody else. Set your goals and stand by your goals. Some challenges and how to overcome them. If you're going away to school, being homesick is a really big thing. You can stay in touch, but stay present. One of the things I hear most often is Sitting Bull College is located on the Standing Rock Reservation in North Dakota, and United Tribes Technical College is close to us. And a lot of times when students from Standing Rock go up to the United Tribes, because Standing Rock is so close, students have a tendency to go back and forth. And if they come back home, they have a tendency not to go back. So always stay present at your college, but stay in touch with people at home. I know homesick can be, being homesick it can be hard to overcome. But there again, if you get involved with your activities that are on campus, overcoming that homesick does help. Sometimes you might have academic pressure, but always ask for help early. Don't wait till the end of the semester and say, oh, I can't, I need help to do it. Ask as soon as you realize that you need help. Everybody is so willing to help. There are services available for you. Time management, use an app if you have to make sure that you have a schedule. And then loneliness, just reach out and join different groups. It's really important to stay active. That'll help cut down on the loneliness if you're active within your campus or college you are going to. Final tips for being successful. Be curious and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I always tell students, no question is a dumb question. So just ask a question and people are more than willing to help you with that. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Somewhere along the line of your journey, you're going to make a mistake. And don't be afraid to make mistakes, because we all learn from the mistakes that we make in life. And that helps build us to who we actually are. Explore and enjoy the experience that you have on campus. Try new things. It is a way to experience it. As I said, there's so many opportunities. If you're planning on attending a tribal college, there's so many different opportunities that are there, especially clubs. You can get involved with the American Indian Higher Education Conference, the student conference, where you can go and enjoy and meet students from other tribal colleges and get to talk to them about their experiences that they have at tribal colleges. So that's really important. And the biggest thing is you belong here. You belong in college, and believe it. Believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it, because we believe that you can do it. So if you have any questions or need any clarifications on anything, I'm always willing to help. Here's my contact information. Again, if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to assist and help. I might have went through that a little fast. So
Thank you, Dr. Ressler. That was an amazing overview. Does anybody have any questions? Now would be a good time. You can type them in the chat, or if you want to come off mic, you can do so as well.
I think just sort of a general curious question on my end, Dr. Koreen. With your vast experience at the tribal college, especially with Sitting Bull College, what has, I guess, just been, has there been like a huge bounce back, would you say, from like the pandemic? I know we're sort of a couple of years removed from that, but I think that was probably one sort of outlier in the last couple of years that sort of, I guess, put a halt to a lot of college interest individuals. But I was just sort of curious, like with, the past, I think it was 43 years, right? Just what that was like and how sort of the incline or decline of college recipients and what that looked like, and if there's anything that really stuck out to you over the past couple of years. And just sort of look what it's going to look, what that's looking like going forward as students are sort of entering the fall semester for this year.
well, the pandemic definitely did hurt us. At the time the pandemic hit, most of our classes were face-to-face. And so we ended up having to pivot really quickly and go online. And a lot of our students on our reservation didn't have really good internet access. And so we were trying to set up hotspots for students, different places where they could go so they could get online. And it was just a fast move that we really weren't prepared for. And so Then going back, we stayed online, but in the fall semester, we stayed online pretty much the whole spring semester. But then in the fall semester, we came back with some modified schedules, came back face to face with some modified schedules, trying to limit the number of people who are students that were on campus at a given time. We did distance learning. We got rid of our tables and bought individual desks so that we could distance them. We did like a split schedule. Some students would come on a Monday, so a Wednesday, and then some would be online. So we did a lot of different things to try and, overcome the internet problems that we had on our reservation and getting people connected. Since then, though, we've gotten much better with the offering for online. We've learned, and our faculty have gotten much better, and we actually do have a lot of programs now that are online. We do a lot of we have our trades programs that are face to face, and then we like to keep our freshman students face to face. It's just a good learning experience to be on campus before you totally go online. So we do try to keep our first time freshmen face to face. We do have some online options for students. They might be able to take like one freshman course online, but the rest of them, we try to get them on campus. And it's really to get them involved, because if you go right away as a freshman student, like right out of high school, and you take all online classes, you don't have that college experience. I don't feel you have that college experience because you're not on your campus. And it's hard to be online and hard to be involved. And so online learning is really changing a lot of the atmosphere of your campus. And so we have tried to do things to keep like online students engaged in the college. I mean, we have like Tuesday topics, and we will put them on Zoom so that online students can get involved with that. We do our club meetings by Zoom, so if somebody is online, they can still get involved with the clubs online. So I think that there really is, online learning is changing the whole dynamics of college and college life and what activities you're actually doing. But again, we really like to keep these first-time freshmen on campus, because the more involved they are, and once we get them through their associate degree, the success rate when they go on to the bachelor's is like 90%, I'd have to say. So there is a lot of changes in dynamics of college from the 43 years that I've seen it. I mean, and tribal colleges have come a long way. I have started at Newetta Dotson College in Newtown, North Dakota. My first classroom space was in the top of a museum. It was a small room on top of a museum that we were renting. And from there, we went into a storefront property in downtown. I mean, our facilities have just come a long way, and it's amazing because tribal colleges now have beautiful campuses, and we actually are campus. I mean, we very much are viable options for students. We provide that educational experience that I would match to any state college, any place. So.
Well, thanks.
And the other thing I think is really important with tribal colleges is that we are family oriented. We have that family atmosphere, that caring atmosphere, that we want students to succeed. And so we are here to help students. You're not a number. You're a person, not a number.
No, that's really well said. I definitely agree. I think that's one of the key things you definitely want to look at, especially if you are. It can be intimidating, moving across the state, let alone across the country, to go to like a major university. So I know for me, just to get a little personal, I did do a community college for my first year as well. So they're definitely viable options for those of you that joined us today on the call. If you're not necessarily want to take the huge step to go across the country, across the state to a university, definitely attend a tribal college. The college fund, we definitely fund a lot of scholars throughout the country. A lot of them are tribal college recipients, students. And we definitely just thank you guys all for joining the conversation today. I know for me, definitely from somebody that does both work online and virtual, or virtual and on site, that in-person experience on the ground definitely is something to strive for and to do if it definitely worked with their schedule. So really well said. Thank you for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ressler, for your insight and for sharing. I just have to echo that, I know tribal colleges are doing really amazing work and are at the same level, if not above, a lot of the state colleges and universities as far as like innovation opportunities. So definitely, give them a thought. I hope that I know for some of you who are also attending TCUs, you're gonna have a really amazing time. And yeah, community and family orientation is definitely one of the key factors of a tribal college. So thank you.
And one of the things too, that, sorry to interrupt you, one of the things I really want people to understand is tribal colleges are accredited, just like any other institution of higher education. We are all accredited. We go through this. We have to have the same standards as any state institution of higher education. In a private, we have the same standards that we are held to by our accrediting agency. And so, that's important, because sometimes people say, well, my credits transfer if I go to a tribal college? Yes, they will transfer. Credits transfer to from a tribal college to a state college. Between tribal colleges, they do transfer. So
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a really important note. And a lot of TCUs, a lot of tribal colleges as well, they do offer post-baccalaureate or bachelor's programs. So they also have master's degrees. They also have doctorates. So yeah, definitely give some consideration if you're interested in that. But yes, thank you. I think one thing that also really resonated with me that you said was don't compare your story to others. So some people, it takes them cookie cutter 4 years, and that's great to finish their bachelor's program. Some of them takes them a little longer. It's really important to keep in mind that this is your journey, this is your higher education that you're wanting to do. And, sometimes it may not happen the way you want it, or things might happen, life happens. But it's just important to keep in mind your reason why you wanted to go to college, and your reason why you want to get your degree, and your reason why you're wanting to pursue the higher education path. So thank you again so much. I almost wish we had you for our first date because I think you did a really amazing job at highlighting all the different areas that we're going to be really going into deep with the other sessions coming up. So yeah, thank you again, Dr. Ressler. Yeah, I really appreciated you being here. And yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up, and I'll go ahead and share my screen to share our evaluations. So yeah, again, please feel free to complete this before you leave, or after we get off. This is going to be your ticket again to get into the door prizes, as Sean mentioned. So the more sessions that you attend, you have to submit the event evaluations after each session. The more sessions you attend, the bigger the prizes are. So after just attending one session, you're entered to win a $25 Amazon gift card. If you attend 2 sessions, you're entered to win headphones. And if you attend 3 sessions, you're entered to win a tablet. And if you attend 4 or more sessions, you'll be entered to win a laptop. So please feel free, or please complete these event evaluations. The feedback definitely helps us. And we also share it with our guest speakers as well. But yeah, if no other questions, again, it was a privilege to have you again, Dr. Ressler, and thank you all again for joining us for day 2. We'll have our last session of this week tomorrow, same time at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Again, time zones are different for everybody, so please make sure you're double checking that. Same time, same place. Again, if you haven't registered for tomorrow's sessions that you want to see and haven't registered for yet, please visit our website. Sean pasted it in the chat. That's where we have all of the schedules, we have all the registrations, and we also have other information that you might find valuable. And again, all of the sessions are recorded and will be posted to our YouTube channel. So, am I still there? This is my connection's unstable. Okay, cool. That's my sign to get off. Well, thank you everybody for joining, and we'll see you all again tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you, and successful year to everybody, and hope you're all enroll in college someplace.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.